Something remarkable just unfolded. A speech that showcased Mark Carney's sharp wit, quiet authority, and rising influence on the global stage. This wasn't just about policy, it was about presence. In one moment, Carney had the room laughing with a clever swipe at Donald Trump. And in the next, he was sending a clear warning to the U.S. Canada won't be overlooked any longer. While Trump talks about power, Carney made it known he's the one calmly setting the direction. This wasn't a response, it was a statement, a message aimed at America, at the doubters, and even at his rivals back home. Canada, under Carney, is ready to shape its own future.
And I'd suggest that over the course of the last year that we've learned three big lessons, or been reminded of three big lessons. And the first, and this room knows this lesson, you live it, we have to focus on what we can control. We can't control, I can't control Donald Trump, I gotta tell you. Actually, I can't let him think I'm controlling him is maybe a better way to do it. You never know. You never know what's going to come next. But he did upgrade me to president, so I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. Got a ring. Don't tell the Governor General, don't tell King Charles, but I'm going to keep that going. But look, we can't control what happens outside of our borders. We can influence it.
The audience laughed, but Carney's quip about Trump, "I can't let him know how I control him," held more than just humor. It was confidence wrapped in comedy. He wasn't ridiculing Trump, he was showing that he could handle him with ease. Think about it. Every time global leaders have confronted Donald Trump, they've either folded, stepped back, or stayed quiet. But Carney? He takes that pressure and turns it into a punchline. That's the sign of a leader who understands that real strength doesn't lie in outrage, it lies in self-control. Carney's charm, timing, and effortless composure in that moment were a perfect showcase of soft power at its best.
We can influence it, but we can't control it. But what we can control is what happens here at home. And that is about building strength here at home. Building one Canadian economy. Millions of new homes. Nation-building projects. New energy and trade corridors. Transforming our country with the scale of ambition that is at every table in this room. That is what we are doing, because we can give ourselves, and we are beginning to give ourselves, more than the Americans can ever take away.
Then came the line that instantly grabbed headlines. Carney shifted from lighthearted to laser-focused. We can give ourselves more than the Americans can take away. That one sentence captured the energy in the room, equal parts economic reality and national resolve. For years, Canada's growth has been closely tied to U.S. trade deals and the shifting winds of American politics. But with that single line, Carney flipped the narrative. His message to Washington was unmistakable. Canada doesn't need favors, bailouts, or sympathy. It was confident, it was clear, and it resonated across the country, not as a swipe at Trump, but as a stand for Canada's dignity. But Carney didn't stop there. He turned his attention inward, to the people who put him in Ottawa. He laid out a set of measures showing that his government's focus isn't on headlines abroad, but on the day-to-day struggles Canadians face. He talked about tax cuts for working families and first-time homebuyers, direct action on the housing crisis squeezing so many. He highlighted protection for manufacturing jobs, making sure workers across every province feel secure in an uncertain world economy. Most importantly, he made this clear. While other countries chase global power, Canada is choosing fairness. It was classic Carney, combining economic strategy with real empathy, the kind of leadership Canadians have long been waiting for. Bold on the world stage, grounded in the lives of ordinary people.
Now, And the second lesson that we've learned, been reminded of, again, this room knows it well, you live it, is we have to take care of each other. And that's why we've started as a government with a laser focus on affordability, cutting taxes on income, cutting taxes on capital gains, cutting taxes on first-time home buyers, supporting the programs that support the most vulnerable in society, supporting our workers, such as those here in Brampton at Stellantis, when they're hit by the trade wars. And we will support those workers all the way. Now, the third lesson is we also have to look out for ourselves. That's why we're focused on protecting our communities, our borders, our country, and our way of life. And in Canada, everyone should be able to get up, go to work in their car, go to temple, come home, sleep soundly at night. And I have to say that we need to make some changes so that's true everywhere.
Then came what may have been the night's biggest reveal. Carney announced a set of new initiatives aimed at strengthening Canada's borders and national security, including the addition of 1,000 new border agents and 2,000 fresh RCMP recruits. This wasn't just political talk. It was a clear investment in protection, independence, and long-term stability. Carney made it clear, Ottawa's job isn't to run local police forces. It's to safeguard the entire country from threats like smuggling, organized crime, and foreign interference. In a world shaped by global unrest, those threats are growing more complex by the day. But read between the lines, and you'll find something more. A message of national self-confidence. While Trump continues to push the America First agenda, Carney is showing that Canada, too, is ready to prioritize its own interests and back it up with action.
We've made some announcements in the last few days, and if you'll indulge me, well, it's too late. I'm up here, the microphone's on, I'm going to plow through. But I want to just reference a few of them because they're important. And they're about making our communities safer. You know, the federal government doesn't patrol the streets. We're not the OPP. We're not the Peel Regional Police. But what we are responsible for is protecting our borders. So we're adding 1,000 more border guards. I was at Niagara Falls announcing that today. We're patrolling our border. We're keeping out legal contraband, guns, drugs. We are responsible for work against terrorism, against organized crime, against transnational, in other words, foreign governments interfering. We're hiring 1,000 more RCMP officers. We're banning terrorist organizations. We're listing terrorist organizations such as the Bishnoi Gang. We're taking active pressure to stop the scourge of extortion and home invasions. And the third thing that we are doing is we are toughening our laws and our bail requirements in this country. To keep, we will announce, we will table in Parliament next week tougher bail and sentencing laws for home invasions, for extortion, for violent auto theft, human trafficking, smuggling.
And just when the audience thought he was wrapping up, Carney delivered his trademark blend of wit and humility. Glancing over at Ontario Premier Doug Ford, he joked that Ford was the cleanup hitter, the guy you bring in to knock it out of the park. The room burst into laughter. It was a moment that summed up Carney's unique ability to mix gravity with lightness, effortlessly shifting from global diplomacy to national pride to authentic connection, all in a single address. Even Ford couldn't help but grin, because Carney's humor wasn't about scoring points, it was about building bridges. A reminder that real leadership is rooted in unity, and that serving the country means standing together, not pulling apart.
And we're working closely with the province of Ontario the other provinces to make sure this works, to make sure the prosecutors know about it, the judges know about it, the police enforce it. And in many I spent yesterday with the cleanup hitter. I'm the opening hitter. The cleanup hitter is Doug Ford, right? That's the thing. That's the way it works. He's going to come in. He's a slugger. He's going to swing for the fences, I can assure you. But I spent yesterday, and part of it was talking through this about how do we make this work? How do we make it tough enough, and how do we make it work? And we are going to make it work because that's what you deserve.
From his sharp jabs at Trump to his strong message for Washington, from promises to support Canadian workers to bold security reforms, and from serious policy to lighthearted moments with Doug Ford, this speech showed exactly why Mark Carney is reshaping what leadership looks like in Canada. He's confident without being boastful, humorous without losing focus, and resolute without picking fights. And in a time filled with noise, outrage, and empty slogans, that's what truly sets him apart. Carney isn't following the world's chaos, he's helping steer it. And if this speech is any sign of what's to come, Canada's next chapter will be led by someone who knows how to laugh at power and use it with purpose. If you believe Canada deserves leaders who lead with clarity, courage, and conviction, subscribe to Canada Newsline for more, because this is only the beginning.